Welcome to ePathashala in Linguistics. This is the section on South Asian languages and typology and language universals. Today we are going to discuss the syntactic typology of Munda languages. We will discuss it in two parts. Today we will focus on part 1 first and later on part 2. So, our chapter is our unit is organized in this manner. First, we will provide an introduction to Munda languages, then we will provide some word order universals that Munda languages share with other languages of the South Asian subcontinent. Then we try to provide evidence in support of the notion of India as a linguistic area from Munda languages. Then we conclude our unit. Munda languages are all verb final, while the other sub branch, as you know that Munda languages belong to the sub branch of Austroasiatic, the other branch is Mon Khmer. All Mon Khmer languages are non-verb final, they are either verb medial or they could possibly be verb initial. However, all Munda languages are verb final and there are no counter examples to this. What is the reason? A long time ago, the Munda languages too were verb medial, but due to the influence of the superstate languages. What are superstate languages? Bangla, Hindi Urdu, Sadri, Odia. These are the superstate languages with which Munda languages interacted intensely. So, in course of 100 or 1000 or more years, these languages took a U-turn from verb medial to become verb final languages. What are the states in which Munda languages are spoken? You have Jharkhand, the first state where number of Munda languages are spoken, West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and even some pockets of Assam, but basically Jharkhand, Bihar and West Bengal are the states where these languages are spoken. What are these languages? You have Santali, Ho, Mundari. These are what we call the North Munda languages. In fact, our attention will be on North Munda languages today. Then you have Khadia, Juang, etc. and they are the South Munda languages. Munda languages exhibit almost all the word order features of verb final languages except Sora, which is spoken in Odisha. It has some non-verb final language features which we are not going to discuss due to paucity of time. Out of the four families in the subcontinent, Austroasiatic, that is Mon Khmer and Munda, these are the languages that are the most heterogeneous in the subcontinent. The only other family in which languages are syntactically heterogeneous is the Tibeto-Burman language family. As Sidwell rightly puts it, Munda languages are different from the rest of the Austroasiatic family because due to aerial influences, namely the influence of the superstate languages. What are the features, word order universals that Munda languages share? We will present only some. For some we do not have any evidence due to lack of available evidence. The unmarked word order in Munda languages is subject, direct object and verb. They have postpositions and the auxiliary verb follows the main verb. The completive marker, which is part of the auxiliary verb, occurs to the right of the verb, as we will show it today. So, there is a finite marker or completive marker or a declarative marker, as it can be called, that occurs at the end of the sentence. The SOV order, you have V plus ox order and the DO-IO order. Normally, what do we expect? You expect an IO-DO order, as we have noticed in our field work and some published works. DO-IO order is also quite dominant in Munda languages, which could be a vestige of the Austroasiatic language family, but I would not like to make a strong claim on it, because the DO-IO order in many South Asian languages is very flexible. Let us take a sentence from Santali. Give your daughter-in-law in charge to her father. Daughter-in-law is the direct object, to her father-in-law is the indirect object, because he is the recipient. Oh, by the way, you must notice that Munda languages are heavy prodrop languages, because the verb carries the subject agreement marker, the direct object agreement marker, and the indirect object marker, and the position of the subject marker agreement marker is very flexible. We will show it to you in a minute. So, let us come back to our sentence. Give your daughter-in-law in charge to her father. So, Bahu apat kshen jimekaye me, that is indirect object comes first, direct object comes first, then the indirect object comes first later, and the verb comes in the end. So, it is a marked word order from the point of view of the word order in our final language, but as I told you that this is the language, this is the order we encountered while collecting data and also from books. What are the other features? The other features include the dative postposition. Dative case marker is 10 and dative postposition occurs to the right of the NP, as you can see in sentence number 3, that is, I gave the child to the woman. Here the subject I is prodropped, because the subject marker ñ, the subject pronoun is I is ñ, but the agreement marker is ñ. So, the agreement marker, the subject agreement marker occurs in the on the constituent that occurs in the pre-verbal position. Here what is the constituent that occurs in the pre-verbal position? Gidra. Gidra is the direct object, Maijevu is indirect object. So, you have Maijevu 10 to the woman, Gidra child, and M ked a. M is the verb to give, K is the perfect aspect marker, Da is the transitive marker that occurs with the verb when the verb is plus transitive. This is a very unique feature of Munda languages, where the verb carries either a transitive marker when the verb is transitive, or an indirect an intransitive marker like N when the verb is, when the subject is intransitive. The subject agreement marker occurs on Gidra, to the right of Gidra, ñ, because that is the constituent that occurs in the pre-verbal position. The subject agreement marker, as we will show, may occur also to the right of the plus finite marker A. All finite sentences in North Munda languages carry the finite marker A, as you can see in sentence number 3, Maijevu 10 Gidranya M keda A. The A is the agreement marker for the direct object. When you can also incorporate the dative postposition in the verb, and you can see as in sentence number 4, Gidra do Maijevu Emma dea. The dative case marker is not present overtly with the subject, but it occurs as a, as an applicative, as an incorporated postposition in the verb. And here again the order is the child, the direct object comes first, because the child is the one that receives the focus, as you can see, do, gidra do, maijuvinya. Why the indirect object carries the subject agreement marker? Why? Because the indirect object occurs in the pre-verbal position, and any constituent that occurs in the pre-verbal position carries the subject agreement marker. In Mundari, both the subject and object of a sentence are morphologically unmarked for case. As you can see, I will buy the comb for Soma. Soma, there is no nominative or ergative case marker in Munda languages. No Munda language is ergative, they are all nominative accusative languages. So, Soma is the subject, Nangan, Naki Iny, Kirinya Aiye A. That is, I will buy the comb for Soma. I is prodropped, but the word comb is Naki and it occurs in the pre-verbal position. Therefore, Inya occurs to the right of the NP that occurs in the pre-verbal position, and you have A, the finite marker that occurs in the end. In contrast, no Indo-Aryan language or Dravidian language permits the absence of the dative case marker with the indirect object. For example, Manik ने उस लड़की को चिट्ठी लिखी. Either in Indo-Aryan language or in any Dravidian language, the ko or the dative case marker that corresponds to ko in Telugu is ki, it can be dropped. The genitive precedes the governing noun, as in other verb final languages. As you can see in the example in 9, diri riya oda, stone genitive house, a house made of stone. We have changed the meaning slightly. The comparative marker and the superlative marker, as one would expect, they occur to the right of the standard of comparison. You can see mango is the most tasty or the tastiest of all fruits. You have sanam jokon uldo barti sebai a. All fruit ablative than mango topicalized by ul do, mango topicalized, barti more tasty, sebel a. More is the comparative marker that occurs to the right of the standard of comparison. Time adverb precedes the place adverbs in verb final languages, as we have seen earlier in some other units. In Munda languages too, this is adhered to. You have, we will meet you in Ranchi in January. You have the time adverb January re coming first, Ranchi re coming later, lang napam a, that is, we will meet you in Ranchi in January. The time adverb, the time place, the order of the time and place adverb is very flexible in Munda languages. The place adverb may precede the time adverb for focus. We now provide evidence in support of the notion of India as a linguistic area. In several units earlier we have discussed that there are certain features which all Indian languages carry and Munda languages are no exception. These are what are the features we are going to discuss? Reduplication, partial reduplication, compound verbs, the quotative, etc. Notice that reduplication is not exclusively restricted to South Asia. Many languages in the world have reduplication, but almost all South Asian languages have reduplication. Therefore, this is one of the features that characterizes a language and it provides evidence in support of India as a linguistic area. Now, we have reduplication in, for example, din, day, din, every day. This is borrowed from Hindi or the language called Sadri. Chala kete means while going. You can say chalak te, that is while going. reduplication of the participle. This is possible in all Indian languages like in Hindi, chalte jalte or jate jate, etc. Then te is a conjunctive participle, and the conjunctive participle reduplication is a very common phenomenon, and Munda languages also have the conjunctive participles. The conjunctive participle, as we have seen, performs a number of functions as a conjunction, and it also functions like an adverb. बच्चे दौड़कर या दौड़ थक गए. Children having run a lot got tired. So, here in Santali too, the conjunctive participle may be reduplicated. मित्रे तहन तहनते ढेर दिनको तहेय तहें तहें एना. They spent many days living together in one household. So, you have tahente, but the conjunctive participle marker, the first part of the adverb tahente, the te is dropped, tahente is having stayed together for a long time. There is another process of reduplication which we call as a partial reduplication in Munda languages. Take a verb such as sandra. Sandra means hunt. It is partially reduplicated as sesandra, as in 10. Those who were hunting for you have also all returned home. So, you have sandra and you have sesandra in the verb. Unko you, sesandra, that is they hunt for a long time. Then sesandra ko ho, ruwar chaba, badiyai ena. Those who were hunting for you have also returned home. Like all other South Asian languages, Munda languages too have compound verbs. You have a compound verb in a sentence like, I shall invite a couple of people from that village over there to come. So, invite is a verb that is formed from like the verb riyau agu, invite and bring. You invite and bring together, they form a compound verb. So, you have in Hindi also a compound verb is formed like that. मैं उस गांव से एक आध लोगों को बुला लाऊंगा. बुला लाना means to call. It's a compound verb in Hindi. Another interesting feature of South Asian languages is that Dravidian, Tibeto-Burman and the Munda languages have the quotative. What is the quotative? The quotative is basically a form of the verb say. The verb say might be in its infinitival form or in its participial form, as you will see, as you have seen in many other languages. In Dravidian it is a participial form, in Indo-Aryan also it is a participial form. So, here in Munda languages too, it is a quotative form from the verb to say, and it is a grammaticalized form of the verb, just as in Dravidian, Tibeto-Burman and the Munda language family. What do we mean by grammaticalized? The verb say has lost its literal meaning and it functions as a quotative or as a purposive marker or many other things. For example, Rani do e menket a. Rani, topicalization marker, a is the subject agreement marker, men ke a, men is the verb to say, k is the past tense marker, ta is the transitive marker, a is the finite marker. Notice that the subject agreement marker occurs on the subject itself. Why? Because the subject is the constituent that occurs in the preverbal position. So, the subject agreement marker occurs on the subject itself. You have Rani do e. This is a very peculiar or unique or typical feature of the Munda languages, especially the North Munda languages, where the subject agreement marker occurs on a constituent that is in the preverbal position. We will talk more about it later. The quotative also functions as a complementizer. It is a finite complementizer, and the quotative, the form of the quotative is mente. Men is to say, te is the conjunctive participle marker, mente becomes the quotative, and the quotative interestingly carries the subject agreement marker. The quotative is occurs to the right of the verb of the embedded clause, that is S2, and mente and the quotative and the embedded clause form as one unit. Therefore, it is treated as a preverbal constituent, and therefore, the subject agreement marker occurs to the right of the quotative, as in you can see in sentence below. What does this prove? This proves that the finite complementizer with a quotative and the embedded clause are closely attached. That is, the FC is more closely attached or tied in to the embedded verb than the IC is. This is the claim I have made in my book in South Asian languages, and Munda languages provide evidence in support of that. So, let us take a sentence like, I heard that Soma came. What is the embedded sentence? Soma came. And where do you expect the complementizer to occur? Mente. Mente should be to the right of the verb come. Who is the subject? I is the subject of the matrix clause. So, you have Soma hizuk aka mente I heard. Then ayum keda, the subject is prodraft. When it is prodraft, what is the constituent that occurs to the left of the verb? It is the entire embedded clause along with the complementizer, the quotative. Therefore, the subject agreement marker of the matrix clause occurs to the right of the embedded complement followed by the quotative. And I have another example in 14, I will ignore that. The quotative, like in other South Asian languages, performs the function of a purposive marker. For example, I have come for that purpose. Ona maintain, H akan a. Ona maintain, that maintain, in order to, mente is our quotative. Inya, in again is the subject agreement marker, I is prodraft. So, you have ona maintain, because ona mente is the preverbal constituent, that in order, subject agreement marker, H aka, come, H is aka, H is come, aka is the progressive marker, and then you have N, the intransitive marker, because the verb come is intransitive. A is the finite marker that occurs in the end. In Dravidian languages too, as you recall, the quotative functions as a purposive marker. As in 16, you can see Mimmalini Kalusukundam Ani. Ani is the verb to say, Mimmalini is a you, accusative, Kalusukundam, meet, Ani, Ani is the verb to say, is the conjunctive participle, Ani is the conjunctive participle form of the verb to say, and that is the quotative in Telugu. And Mimmalni Kalusukundam Ani, ee pillalu vacharu. These children came in order to meet you. As you can see, the quotative performs an identical function in Dravidian and also in Tibeto-Burman. We have not provided any data for that, and in Munda languages. The quotative mente also occurs with question expressions. As you might recall, while discussing the Dravidian languages, we mentioned that the quotative can occur with a question word in Telugu, Tamil, Kannada and Malayalam. So, for example, let us take a sentence from Santali. Why are you sitting here? Chat is the word for what? Mente is the quotative. Here is nodem. Dudup is the sit. Aka is the progressive marker. Na is the intransitive marker because the verb sit is intransitive. A is the finite marker. Chat mente nodem dudup akana. Why are you sitting here? What is it for our interest? Our interest is chat mente. What plus quotative gives you the interpretation of why. Let us take a Telugu example. What did Sarita write? Sarita Amy. What? Quotative. Ani Rasindi wrote. Exactly like Mundari or Santali or Ho. A question word carries the quotative and together they give the interpretation. Sarita Emani Rasindi. The quotative mente also has the interpretation of having thought. For example, I drank thinking that it was water. Da mente knew kada. Da means water, mente is your quotative, nya is the first person subject agreement marker because mente is the quotative that occurs in the preverbal position. Knew is the verb to drink, k is your past tense marker, da is the transitive marker, I is the finite marker. So, I drank it thinking that it was water. Let us take a parallel Telugu example in 21 from Telugu. Nenu నీళ్ళు అని అనుకొని తాగివేశాను. Of course, Telugu carries a quotative too. Nenu I నీళ్ళు water ani quotative అనుకొని having thought drank. I drank it thinking that it's water. In conclusion, what we have done in this unit is we have provided a brief description of the Munda languages. We have also discussed in detail some word order universals that Munda languages share with other languages of the South Asian subcontinent, and we provided evidence from select Munda languages in support of the notion of India as a linguistic area. What I would like to add here is not much work has been done or is being done on Munda languages. So, sometimes we encounter problems in getting data from published sources, and collecting evidence also is not that easy, as Munda speakers are that freely not available in places where a person like me stays. Thank you.